What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kuya P. This is the NRW where nerds rule the world, back for another ShoPowSho. So of course, it's the Adobro, the Babinka boy, the leader of the Holla Holla homies and the Center Gang. I'm Kuya P. Today, I finally have an amazing artist, writer, comics creator with Mess Comics. We've been trying to make this happen for a minute, and I'm thankful that we finally made it happen. He got a bunch of great projects coming out very soon called Dr. Skin Tag, the Filipino assassin, as well as him celebrating more of his Mess Comics franchise that he has built. We have the one and only Jay Kalagayan. You don't want to see me anymore. You want to see this sexy man. Let me unpeel myself. There he is. Jay Kalagayan, Mess Comics in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Thank you, man. I'm so excited, as I told you earlier, to finally make this happen. I feel so bad when, you're doing a show and you reach out to certain folks and you kind of, put the feelers out, and then, this things kind of get lost in the mix and you're like, God damn it, what happened? What shit? And you just, I personally feel bad, because I want to show love to my people like yourself. And then, just things happen. Life gets happen. Things get crazy.
I
So
think I
thank you
think
for staying with me, my brother.
I think in making comics and covering culture, I think it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, we're just gonna keep on chugging along, right? We're gonna
Yes,
keep going.
sir. Definitely. I appreciate you, Jay. Let's kick it off first, man. I want to talk about just some of the recent stuff. Let's go ahead and put some promo stuff to just, kick us off with just some amazing projects because they're coming out now. And then I want to dig into who is Jay Kalagayan and Mess Comics. Let's talk about Skin Tag. When I saw this press release, when you send this over, I was like, are we really doing this? Are we doing a Skin Tag comic? Dr. Skin Tag? And then I read a little bit more that it's kind of semi based on some true stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Can we tell the world about Dr. Skin Tag on the Show Pal
We,
Show? Can you
we
tell
are
me
going to
what
tell the
happened?
world. We are going to tell the world all day and all night. So, Dr. Skin Tag. Dr. Skin Tag takes place in Tagaytay, and in the Philippines. I was there on a trip, and we hit hardcore traffic, and it was the Picnic Grove celebration. So like it was Christmas Day. We hit that traffic, and I had nothing to do but just have my thoughts and my journal with me. And those are two dangerous things when you're on a long traffic drive and you're not driving. Thank God I didn't have to drive in the Philippines. So I thought about it, and I always wanted to do a story that takes place in the Philippines. And I created basically a free clinic, and they remove skin tags. And the lineup for Christmas is obviously going to be long for the Picnic Grove celebration. And lo and behold, this free clinic, the reason it's free is because it's run by a Filipino aswang, Filipino vampire, that eats skin tags to survive.
Oh my gosh.
And, Filipino male, 40s, 50s. I've had skin tags. One of the funniest things was I had one near my eye, so I wasn't. I was like, I was very hesitant to remove it. I didn't want to get it removed. And I was at a Comic-Con, and this customer walks up to me and he's like, "You're bleeding." And I'm like, "What?" And this skin tag I had near my eye, like exploded, and it was literal like blood all over my face. So I went to the restroom, it clotted, I was fine and everything like that.
So
But
you
like
scratched it without knowing or something? It
I
like,
get, yeah, I was like
because I
allergy
do that.
season, no, and it like came off, and it was bleeding so much blood. So I was just like, man, what? I mean, could a vampire survive on eating the skin?
A good amount, right?
A good amount, yeah. So a lot of blood coming out. So and so that's how I got my ideas. Because I mean, I really just the idea of it. And Rylan Jose, they are a body horror artist out of Chicago, and they do some just gruesome art. I mean, it's unbelievable. You have the preview, and you're welcome to show the Aswang. It's just unbelievable how they just delivered on body horror.
I love it. That sounds so awesome. It this was so relatable when I read it, Jay, because I'm notoriously getting beat up by my wife and daughter, my mom. Stop picking at yourself. Stop picking at yourself. It's a habit, you know. It's a habit. I know I shouldn't. And I'm sure you know we shouldn't. We should
Ugh.
go see somebody get it properly removed or whatever. But it's there, you know, and you just kind of do it, and you sometimes you're just doing it unknowingly, and it just happens. And so, I thought it was hilarious. So again, everybody, when is it dropping? You know, so I had a preview.
It's already available. If you go to our website at Mess Comics, MESSED Comics .com, you'll see on our blog post, and you can also purchase Dr. Skin Tag. So, move over Dr. Pimple Popper. I got Dr. Skin Tag now.
I love it. Everybody, links in the description below. Go pick up a copy from my man Jay Mess Comics. Get Dr. Skin Tag. Oh, hilarious. I love it. Did you see the Substance last year, Jay?
Oh, no, not yet. Not
Demi?
yet. Not yet.
Talking about body horror, you know,
Yeah.
that after last year with that film, which to me, uh, my favorite film of the year last year, that
Nice.
and The Wild Robot. Yeah, and
Oh,
Flow. Those are like
yeah.
they kind of go up and down with they were my top three films last year. Just amazing animated
Nice.
films and a body horror, and Demi just killing it. But yeah, I'm in like that body horror type vibe now after last year. So this is like the perfect book for those fans that loved Substance last year. Go pick up Mess Comics, the Doctor Skin Tag. This is awesome. I
I
love
mean,
it.
I really think it has to do with as you get older, you're just feel more in tune, and your body just does weird and disgusting things. And
Relatable. I won't admit to anything else. I am getting older. There's certain smells that I don't know where they came from now.
oh man,
I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to
yeah,
discuss my fans.
done, done.
All right. Another title that you have coming or out now. You're going to tell me that I need to know
S-
more of. The Filipino Assassin. Where is
exactly.
this from?
Filipino Assassin is this incredible book. I did it with my regular partner who I had worked on Mess Comics with, Dylan Spieg. And it's basically it's the 1920s, and it's the untold story of Vincent Manago Hambright. Born in Cebu, he came to the United States in the 1920s, started his boxing career in the late 1920s in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh,
And
wow.
he had this knockout right hand, so the newspapers called him the Filipino Assassin. And I'm telling you, until about a year ago, a year and a couple months ago, never heard about him. And the
Wow.
fact is, I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania. I've been living in Cincinnati for a couple decades. I was with someone who's president of FOSO. His name is Billy, and he never heard about this person either. So the fact that there was a famous Filipino athlete in the 1920s, just like, 20, 30 years after colonization, and I've never heard of it, that is a hidden figure that needs a spotlight, right? Right?
Yes.
What's your
I
hat
love
say? I'm going to read it. Make history now. And
good point.
I'm going to put a spotlight on some past history. Because I really, so with Vincent Monago Hambright, he boxes his way to fame in the Midwest, goes all the way to Madison Square Gardens in New York, wins a bunch of belts and won a bunch of bouts and belts. And this graphic comic book that we created, it charts his rise. He did military service in World War II with the Navy Seabees against Imperial Japan,
Oh, wow.
and his tragic death in the 1940s. He moved back to Ohio, and he was killed in one of Cincinnati's first documented Asian hate crimes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Fascinating.
So I wanted to put a spotlight on a hidden figure like this. And I got a grant from this great organization called ArtsWave in Cincinnati. So they gave me a grant. So my artist Dylan, he was able to do 32 pages in about a month and a half, and I was able to finish the script in a month. And we were able to go to press. So we premiered it at the Cincinnati the Asian Food Fest, Cincinnati's Asian Food Fest, just this past May. And the thing is on fire. I mean, people are loving this book.
Wow. Yeah, dude, Jay, this show, Filipino, I'm Filipino American, raised in the U.S. But the reason why this show was also formed was for me to learn about myself. I had two collaborators that have been busy, so their schedules. Shout out to the amazing Ates. They were my co-hosts. We created this show to learn about ourselves. As Filipino Americans, I don't think we know enough of our history. And it's clearly, we don't get it in these history books. So this was to put spotlight on people making history like yourself, learn about our history and all of that. So hearing about a book like this, Filipino Assassin, just is amazing. And for you yourself, like you said, you just learned about this a year and a half ago. Oh my gosh, this is why I do this show. And
Yeah.
I love that, and I cannot wait to dive in more. So it's 32 pages. It's out and available now on Mess Comics.
Yeah, go to Mess
Um,
Comics, messcomics.com, and you can get the book. There's also a preview, so you can preview a couple of pages so you know what you're getting into. What's really kind of cool is with the script, the way I designed it, and then Dylan and I worked together for like 10 years, so we really have a shorthand as far
nice.
as these books. Is the first two. The top and the middle section of the comic book, if you see the layout, I know you got some pages that you can show. It tells his history from birth to death, and it just shows that history. But the bottom panel is his boxing history. So every page has some boxing in it, and it looks gorgeous. It's a dark page, like it's in the ring, and it's just Vincent, as like a warrior, a gladiator, a boxer, taking on whatever opponent's in the ring with him. It's phenomenal.
Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm going to probably, once I check it out, go into a deep dive. I'm always that way when I learn about
Yeah.
us as people. Because I just want to know more. And also as a creative like yourself, I want to put these characters out there and educate, entertain, let people know more about this. Because like Pancho Villa is like running. Coming to mind, like, because I know another Filipino project that they're doing a whole thing with Pancho Villa and
Nice.
some other things, but like I've never heard of this. But I love this name so much more, Filipino Assassin.
Oh, I know. So
That's
I
just
was I
amazing.
was playing with the title, and I was like, Vincent Manogo Hambright, Filipino Assassin. Then I was just like, no, I gotta put I gotta put Filipino Assassin in the title. I have to have that. And
Grabs
tell
you.
you, I was in Cleveland for their Asian festival, and I had the banner. We created a banner, and it just says Filipino Assassin, and has amazing artwork from Dylan Spieg. And I'm telling you, so many people walk up to me. And then we had the same banner at Asian Food Fest in Cincinnati. People are just getting pictures with the banner. I mean, they're just like, whoa. And I always get that very well-intentioned but kind of muscular guy walk up and go, well, that's my nickname. And I'm like, I don't know, man. The
I
newspapers
love
called
it.
him that. You can't call yourself the Filipino assassin.
Right? So, if you don't mind, if we could sound this. So, when you got brought this idea,
Yeah.
and especially, and I would also say, when you get brought this idea based, about a real person, it's always a responsibility when you bring somebody's story, out there. What was it like to you get presented this story to then you do the deep dive, which is also to me part of the fun of this experience as creatives, right? When we get to like do the homework and find all that and then put it all together. Uh, what was that like doing that, researching all this information, but then to encapsulate someone's entire life in I think 32 pages. So
Yeah.
like, is this going to be a start of more, or just this is kind of like where you're at to inform?
So what we did was the lecture that I attended. I attended this lecture. James Tecco did this lecture. He's a public historian here in Cincinnati. He's trying to do a spotlight on on Asian history in Cincinnati, and he has an Instagram site, AAPI. Cincy History. So if you Google that, you should be able to find his Instagram. And he's just trying to like just show the fact that, especially in the Midwest. I mean, you remember the recent movie Sinners, and they were talking
Yes.
about the Chinese grocery stores and everything like that. I didn't know about that until I saw the movie, and I was like, "What? Oh, that's cool." He included some Asians, and then I Googled it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know there were Chinese grocery people who had two stores, one for the whites." One for the blacks, and that's Sinners. So James is doing an amazing service trying to spotlight Asian history in Cincinnati, which goes back 1920s, 1800s. I mean, so I love that. And he did this lecture, and it just caught my imagination on fire. I was really fortunate that he did a lot of the research, interviewing descendants of Vincent, and just getting an idea, getting all the articles together. So I think that uh, we talk about writing and artists and how it's a lonely process, but there are collaborations that are essential to this business and to make it the right stories. There was not a lot of quotes from Vincent. There wasn't a ton of primary sources about his life and everything. So I just wanted to do a snapshot of his life and his boxing history with this graphic comic book. So that's why I didn't go any further. But I put it in the hands of like Lou Diamond Phillips, and I'm like, I was at Tidewater Comic Con, and I got a picture of him with the comic. So I'm gonna be following up, and I was like, hey, you want to produce that movie?
Dude, you got my brain thinking about because I'm a filmmaker.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm already spinning on
You
ideas.
take it, man. You take it. I've done, I want to make comics, and I have mission accomplished. So if someone wants to take this idea and run with it, I think it would be an amazing story, spotlighting Asian Filipino Americans in the 1920s. I was
Yeah,
like, just blew my mind. 100 years before Pacquiao, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna probably hit you up offline later, Jay. Like you've already kind of like got the wheels turning in this head of mine.
And
I
just
love that.
FYI, there was a couple articles where they talked about other Filipino boxers around that time too. So he was not alone, but he's the only one with that knockout right hand where the newspapers called him the Filipino assassin. And that
Right.
just captures your imagination.
Yeah, that captures the, but also the in regards to the circumstances of the death that you told
Mhm.
me, because I'm all about like representation, and but then here we have a hate crime that happens. You know.
So so the way the story goes, I'll just tell the story.
Okay.
Um, he came back from World War II. He moved back to Cincinnati. He was at the Green Tree Cafe downtown Cincinnati, and he got into a dispute with this guy named Arnold Spivey, and he ended up slapping him. And they went to their corners of the bar, and Spivey said some terrible things, racist things about the Japanese,
Mm.
and he thought that Vincent was Japanese. He ended up following him home, and he shot him in the back as he was entering his apartment building. He shot him in the back 5 times.
Wow.
He had to surrender to the police because the police couldn't find him, I guess. Took about 3 months, and then he surrendered to the police, and then it went to trial. And even though to the papers, and this is again, this is my take on it. James might have some nuance. My public historian, he's amazing. But in
Yeah.
my take, the newspapers were definitely for Vincent Monago Hambright because he was a sports figure and everything like that. But in the trial, um, they really painted Vincent as kind of a bar thug, as a brutal person.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
So I think the mission is about setting history right then.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Well, I
Wow.
mean, what? So someone slaps you, you
Yeah.
don't at hour later or whatever it was, shoot someone in the back 5 times. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
It feels like there might have been some pre-existing something there.
Yeah.
That they might have had some lingering beef, maybe, because that just so sounds. Anyway, I don't know, but oh, you got my wheels spinning, sir. I love it.
You got that
Jay,
preview copy. You got that media preview copy. You gotta
yes,
read that.
everybody, you can also see it as well. Links in the
Ah,
description. Pick it up from Mess Comics, my man Jay Kalagayan. I love it, dude. I'm gonna have to hit you offline about this later. I'm inspired. I love that. When you get that inspiration thing happening, it's just you get energized. So thank you,
absolutely.
Jay. Mess Comics. Let's turn it on you for a little bit, and then we're gonna celebrate. Mess reaching its achievement towards the end. But how I generally start my interviews is we gotta give love to the ancestors, the people that paved the way for us to be here. I'm curious if remnants of what you are now came from remnants of them. Like, were they creatives? If we can shine a light on aunties, uncles, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, if there was any bit of creativity that kind of came from them that kind of spurned its way into you, Jay.
I would say that my mom and my dad worked so hard, and we were in Union City, Pennsylvania. Union City, Pennsylvania. My dad was a doctor. My mom was an office manager, and it was a small town. They had this small hospital, and the Filipinos went where people had the jobs. Nobody wanted these small hospital jobs. So this small town, Union City, Pennsylvania, had, I believe, 3 or 4 Filipino doctors. They were their main doctors: surgery, obstetrician, baby doctors, everything, emergency room, all Filipino doctors. So we built our life in Erie, in Union City, Pennsylvania, which was a half hour from Erie, Pennsylvania, which is the city on Lake Erie. And they just taught me how to work hard. They taught me how to focus. They taught me responsibility. They taught me just how to be a good person. And I owe them so much for that. I would say that my brother had a hard time. My older brother had a hard time because between Tagalog and English, he just was very confused on just mixing them together. So they did decide when he was a little kid to just speak English in the household. They would speak Tagalog to each other, but English in the household. So I didn't know very much about my culture outside of food. Outside of food, I've been to the Philippines twice. When I was 10, and again when I was 40. So
Okay.
like it was just amazing to try to rediscover who I am, my culture, my ethnicity. I did a job. I worked for Cartoon Crossroads Columbus in Columbus, Ohio. It was a comic book art and animation festival started by Jeff Smith. And I worked
Oh.
that for about 2.5 years. I was the executive director. I did grant writing. I did festival logistics. It was an amazing opportunity. I resigned from that job because I wanted to find the Venn diagram between my geekiness and my ethnicity. And
Mm.
so these
Mm.
projects I'm doing now, Filipino Assassin, Dr. Skin Tag, 2 other projects, The Goat and The Grass Man, where it's just local cryptids, but trying to give them more of an ethnic background to it. I'm really trying to focus on that, and with my final project that'll come out in January, it's called Saint Malo, and it's about the first Filipino settlement in New Orleans in
Wow.
Lake Bourne. It was a trivia question that just blew my mind. Who were the first Asians in North America? And it's us.
Yeah.
It was the ones in California. They came via the
Morro Bay, I think, right?
slave route, trade route, and the first settlement in the 1800s was in New Orleans.
Yes. That too.
Before there was a Declaration of Independence, there were Filipinos in North America. And I'm doing a great story about it where I'm taking a historic route. This isn't like Filipino Assassin. So I'm taking a historic route, and almost like the tagline is sometimes in the land of the free, sometimes you bring your own baggage. And they're being haunted and hunted by their own beliefs in mythology.
Dude, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love
That'll be
that.
in January. You got
We're
to
gonna
have me
have to
back on the
compare
show.
notes, man. Because like I have a Morro Bay story, I have a New Orleans story. I'm right there with you, Jay, wanting to take that parts of our history and amplify it even more. So we're gonna have to compare notes. I love that. You kind of fast forwarded on me real quick, Jay.
Sorry.
Because no worries, no worries. So I'll kind of integrate that into kind of like my setups.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so the initial question, if you don't mind, if we can go back there, were your parents creative? Did they have? Because a lot of times, it's to me, I think it's all in the DNA. Because
Yeah.
I've heard stories from my aunts, my uncles, grandpas. That's why this question is born from that they had that in them, but because of responsibilities, because of the Philippines, going from the Philippines here to the US, that they had to put that to the side and work quote unquote regular jobs to put food on the table and take care of us. And so we're the manifestation of their dreams, and we are able to do what they did because of their sacrifices, and now we're living them out, I feel, in a lot of ways. And so that's why
Absolutely.
I like to honor them with these questions. So
Absolutely.
do you know of if they were had any of that in them?
My mom especially is very creative and artistic. She has a business degree from Temple, and she managed my dad's office, so invested a lot of any money coming in. She would always invest it in everything like that. But she also had this great creative side. She designed. She One of the things she would do is sea glass, which is like Coke bottles, when they get thrown in the Great Lakes, especially Lake Erie, it gets grounded down almost like a rock tumbler. So it becomes like these smooth pieces. And she does
Yeah.
this amazing artwork using sea glass, as they call it. But it's not sea, I mean, it's the Great Lakes. And she just has this collection that she got by walking the beaches of Lake Erie and just picking up these stones just on her, trying to get exercise, but like picking up these stones. And she just built this whole collection. And now she's turning it into art. I mean, it's just amazing.
That's epic. I've seen work like that, and I
Yeah.
love that. It's so creative, so cool. Um, especially the
Organic.
recycling
It's
aspect of it.
especially she's in Virginia Beach now, so it's almost like feels Virginia Beach, even though none of that sea glass is from Virginia Beach. It's all from the Great Lakes, man. It's all from Lake Erie.
That's epic. I love that. That's awesome. All right, so it's in the DNA, Jay.
It's
It's
in
in
the
the
DNA.
DNA, and you're now
Absolutely.
living out. We're both living out our ancestors' dreams with our creativity. And so let's go from there to again. Thank you for giving some of the snapshot. So I might go back into certain things, but we'll
Sure.
expand it out a little bit. So you're born in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Uh, let's go from 0 to 10. What would they tell me about a young Jay Kalagayan? What were you into at that time that maybe you're not into now? What were your dreams? What was it like growing up in PA? From 0 to 10.
Oh man. So 0 to 10, huh? Let's see. Let's start with numbers. There were only three television stations and a fourth was PBS. So, wow. There was only like five radio stations in this small town. And let's do numbers. One stoplight.
Wow.
And my brother brought me to this. It was a grocery store called Lawson's, and he brought me there. And he was 10 years older than me, so he knew we didn't spend a lot of time together. So he took me to this a gas station, and there was this spinner rack, and it had all these comic books on there.
Love it.
And I got my Avengers comic. I forget what number, Wrath of the Weatherman, and that was my first Avengers comic book. And I haven't stopped collecting since. So I owe him for opening worlds to me because I think back in those days, comics were that escape. Comics were
Definitely.
something different than what was on television. Or what was on the radio, or I mean, there was no internet. There was no internet. There's no computers yet. So like this was rebel. This was punk rock. I mean, it was comic books, you know. Whew. And then and it was comics to me, it's escapism, but it's also like characters making decisions that you could maybe take inspiration and possibly wisdom from.
Mm.
Like the way Spider-Man did it, well, maybe I won't do it that way, but that's what could happen.
I agree. I love that. That is awesome. So Avengers off of a spinner's rack was your gateway into comic books that would
Yep.
later get you dive into more in life. I love that. Awesome. So growing up, we're staying in the 0 to 10. Uh, and you kind of brought this up, and you had your older brother there. Uh, and you told me about the food thing, growing up, but Asian, Filipino in kind of this small town. When did you realize you were Filipino and different from everybody else? Did you experience
Every
something? What was that like growing up?
every day of my life, I look in a mirror and I knew I was different, or at least I looked different. So every day of my life, I knew I was not exactly. And I would say in Union City Elementary School, think I was the only person of color there, maybe. So it was hard. I felt like I stuck out a lot. So it was a little isolating. I mean, I had really good friends and everything like that. You geek out to things, you play with Legos, you read comics, you watch cartoons. I remember no matter what, Saturday morning, waking up at 8 a.m. to watch Transformers. And being really upset one morning when I woke up for Transformers and it was Robotech instead. And then after watching Robotech, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so violent and so much really just capturing war for kids. Good God, Robotech was hard.
Right? So you like you said, you knew who you were every day. So did you uh as I've had these interviews and I discuss these in because we're telling Filipino history, and that's part of why I want to have these discussions so we can find out about each other and see how they defined us and create and made us so passionate and motivated with other things. Um, did you develop an animosity, or were you comfortable in your skin? And how did that take you as we get into 11 to 18, which is where we're going to go next at
I
that young
think that
age? Were you tender?
I think you blend in. I mean, that was just modus operandi. I mean, that was just like blending in
Yeah,
and not trying to stick out. I think that's 1 to 10.
yeah.
And then every so often on weekends, we would get together with the Filipinos in Erie, Pennsylvania, the Filipinos in Union City, and just kind of all gather. And there'd be adobo, there'd be fish, there'd be some amazing food. My dad would play poker with the dads, and everyone would it would just be Filipinos, and that was nice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I learned a ton about the culture or anything like
Was
that,
it, did it give you pride a
but
little bit?
you would just be around people who look like you, and that was important. You would hear, I didn't understand it, but you would hear Tagalog.
Yeah.
You would have different foods that you wouldn't have, different flavors than what and that was really important. So that was nice. That would happen several times a year, and then you get good friends, and almost you kind of like that's my Filipino friend, and these are my not Filipino friends.
Yep.
And I don't want to take anything away from other people saying like code switching, but it was a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean,
Oh yeah.
just kind of the different worlds. And then I would say in media, there was nothing for us. There was in Happy Days, the oh my gosh, the Karate Kid's teacher. That was it.
Oh yeah. Pat Morita.
Pat Morita. There
Yeah.
was Pat Morita in Karate Kid. There was George Takei in Star Trek.
Yep.
There was there was the kid in Goonies.
Oh my God. And he's killing
Yeah,
it.
and then
Yeah.
I sorry, I forgot his name, but
Yeah.
I'm
Same.
so glad he came back.
Yes.
He came back to Hollywood and he's running it. I love it. He's
Yeah.
doing well, he's getting as many opportunities as he can as an, Asian lead. But
Yeah.
like I love that but yeah, it was like Goonies. It was like what was that? 16 Candles, Duck Guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was it. And none of them
Yeah.
are Filipino.
Yeah.
And then Lou Diamond Phillips, I didn't know he was Filipino.
Same. That was like an OMG moment when you finally found out that he was Filipino. You're like, what?
No, he knew he was Filipino.
Well,
He just
as us as the viewers that
yes.
in our areas, we didn't know that. It wasn't like broadcast. Oh, that he's
Yeah.
Filipino.
Yeah, he was doing I thought I heard it a long time ago, but then I was reminded of it when he was doing interviews for Easter Sunday, Joe Coy's movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot." And everyone was like, "La Bamba's Filipino," which is like the worst phrasing ever, but it's true. Like La Bamba is Filipino.
I'm with you. I was right there too. I was like, okay, wow, we can claim him.
So that's why, like, when he was at Tidewater Comic Con this year, I was like, I gotta go talk to him. I gotta go talk to him. I
Definitely.
just left my table. I was like, I gotta give him a Filipino assassin.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. All right. Uh Yeah. So growing up, let's go to 11 to 18, to our school years, right?
Yeah.
Where we can now, things we're passionate for, we can like start taking like courses, we can start being in clubs, and we now, just we become more of an adults in finding out what we want to do in this world, Jay. So what were you like in school? What were your initial aspirations to find out the makings of who Jay Kalagayan is now?
I would say I was pretty geeky and quiet in elementary school. When I went to high school, I went to Erie, Pennsylvania, which is a half hour away from my parents. I stayed with a family for a little bit, a Caucasian family, and that was a little bit of a culture shock. Just the way, I don't know. This sounds so bougie, privilegey, but like my favorite difference was this family is a family. I love the Canes. I love them so much, but like, everyone gets one pork chop. Well, like I'm used to my mom when she makes pork chops, there's always leftovers. There's always that kind of food. And then also like my other favorite thing was like just spoons. I was like, "Where's the spoon? Wait, where's the rice?" There was no spoons. There's like pasta or potatoes. I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "Can I have a spoon though?"
I feel that.
So it was just a little culture shock, but it was good. I was learning more about different things. I stayed with a host family for a couple of years in high school, and then in high school it was music. It was band. I was in concert band, marching band. I was there was comic book stores, so I got to go to those and just get. I had a pull list. I mean, it was just amazing, just all the culture. But I would say. Filipino, sure, there was other Filipino families, but I think I was just enmeshing myself in culture, and
Mm,
the dominant culture at the time was predominantly white culture.
hmm.
And so I learned everything I could, and I was loving it. All the different comic books that were coming out, all the music to listen to. I mean, it was like kind of moving from a small town to a bigger city. I'm not saying Erie is the end all be all of culture, but it definitely had a lot more than one stoplight town like Union City.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, definitely a culture shock and eye opener to
Yeah.
transition in that facet. So what would you say are some of the biggest lessons you learned in this time before you head off to college? And that's because that's apparently, where we really find ourselves, right? Let's talk about this 11 to 18, pre-college years, of what we wanted to do. What did we like seek out to that mirrored maybe where we wanted to go later on in life, or completely didn't mirror that at all? And what were some of the paths that, a young Jay Kalagayan was, and like comics, where you found a comic shop. Who are like some of your favorite characters? Who inspired you that maybe you took on later on that you would take your path, if you will?
So this is a little bit of a bridge between 1 to 10 and 10 to 20. My pastor, I was Presbyterian, and my pastor would store his comic books at the church, and I he let me read them. So I kind of got in there, and I
Yeah.
was, I love my Spider-Man. I think what was the big thing? It was the Sin Eater, I think. It was one of the arcs.
Yeah.
Was this
Sin Eater.
main scene with Captain Gene DeWolf was killed by the Sin Eater or something like that. It was like terrible, but it was such a. I love my Spider-Man. I loved my Avengers. I even got my Spider Hams. I love those things, you
Oh,
know.
completely.
Uh, Oh yeah, yeah. I've been talking about back in the day. I have those original issues. But then, my pastor, I got to read some of his books, and we're talking about like Grendel, Mage,
Mm.
Elementals, it's just like all these incredible books, and Nexus was probably one of my favorite.
Steve
So
Rude.
like these more mature adult titles, and I'm reading them and just blowing my mind as far
Yeah.
as what comics could be, what comics could say, and it
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of expands it. Like I had a whole indie library at my disposal, and I read everything I could. So
Awesome.
yeah, amazing.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. So shoot, I want to go to that church, right? Go through church and all of that. That helps kind of get you inspired. But what did you have like a certain path you wanted to do in school? Did you know what you wanted to do back then?
There was the argument, not argument, there was the debate with my parents. And I think first generation, and when I say first generation, have their independent means. They want them to make sure they're okay and they have a job that they could do. So they really pushed me towards nursing. And I was like, okay. And um, I, I went to college as a nurse and still wanted to read comics and pursue my own creative interests and everything like that. But I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do. So nursing sounded really good. And I'm telling you, so I went to Xavier University in Cincinnati. It was back then it was a two-year program. So now we're on college. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
The part two of that question was going to be, we have what we want to do, right? But we're always pressured in, and
Yes.
you already hit the nail on the
Yes.
head. It has been nine. I'll take it down a little bit. 90% of the time, all of us have been pressured into either an engineering field or a
Yeah.
medical field. Nonstop of the bulk of people I've had on ShoPowSho, and I'm going over 150 episodes.
Yeah.
We are pressured into those routes.
Third place, the lawyer. Third place,
Yeah.
lawyer.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in college years now. We're finding ourselves at Xavier.
So I'm at Xavier and I'm doing nursing, and there's such a amazing history of nursing in the Philippines, and it brought so many people to this country. It gave so many people means, and I respect that fully. But I did not know that when I was in college. I will tell you that now. Full respect, didn't know it in college. So I putzed around. I did the student newspaper. I started a comic strip there. I wrote reviews for theater shows. I started getting into theater there. I did everything artistic I could, as well as pursued my nursing degree, which is why it took me an extra year. Whoops. Um, but yeah, I started a theater company out of college. Oh, wait. Before I go there,
Okay.
not a very diverse university. There was some Filipinos, there was African American Black people. I mean, they had international students, but not as diverse, but better than where I've been. So that was really good. Except I think they were trying to, before it was called woke, they were trying to do like e pluribus unum. They were trying to do equality and have those conversations. But it's hard when the whole class is full of one race and me. So it's just like,
Yeah.
so it was difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were trying. So it's almost like you appreciate the effort, but you need to figure out a way to make them real conversations. So
Definitely.
that said, so then I was at Xavier doing all these artistic things as well as getting my nursing degree. And out of college, I could work 3 or 4 days as a nurse and make a pretty good living. So I wanted to continue the artistic stuff. So I started a theater company called Know Theater, K-N-O-W, Know Theatre of Cincinnati.
Wow.
And it was focused on untold stories. So it was like diverse stories, stories in the LGBTQIA, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender population,
Awesome.
also Black history, Black stories, Asian as we could. But admittedly, sometimes we were held back by what actors were available in the city. So,
Yeah.
but we would do, I think, a really good job with what resources we had and what people were available actors wise, and just told some amazing stories and brought a spotlight on just diverse theater in Cincinnati.
I absolutely love that. If you have the tools, you have the means, and you have a community that you know I, is coming together to do this and present that, it's so necessary and so beautiful. That kind of brings me to how for you did you find that to be such an important thing for you with all of the world, the way the world is in, well, it's terrible now in a lot of different ways, but I'm not going to go there. We won't get into to those politics. But, how did you become so conscious, or as they say, quote unquote, woke, which I hate that
No,
terminology, but also I love it at the same time because it means
yeah,
we're
I
knowledgeable to the world.
I really like the term woke. Why is
Yeah,
that? Why
how
is
it
that
became a
like,
negative.
oh, do you want to just stay asleep? I mean, like, come on.
Exactly.
Why is this a bad thing to be conscious of what is
Exactly.
happening? And I think with the theater especially, it was a collaborative effort because I was in the theater department in college. And what was nice is it was an open program, so you didn't have to be a theater major to be part of it. So like it was open, so even a nursing student could like learn a lot about theater. And I took that and started this company. And I helped produce and direct a lot of work that told other people's stories. And I feel like that was my need to try and find my own story
Mm,
and discover stories from my own culture. So we did a tour of children's stories, and I adapted them called Kayamangi, which was like Filipino fables and stories. So we did that and toured that around Cincinnati, and then just really built a theater company from then on, and it still exists today, which is amazing. I think it'll be near 30 years the company still exists.
wow.
So I did that for 12 years. We even connected it with Cincinnati's Fringe Festival. So we have a Fringe Festival and a theater company all in one. And I think it's a great fit for Cincinnati, really showing the a nice spectrum of arts in a city our size.
I love that, Jay. You're a hero, man. I think
Ah,
those of us
thank
that can use those talents to get people together, and because we need this, we need that to help inspire and educate and entertain the next generation. Because as we both know, we grew up without having that. So if we are able to develop a platform like that to help bring that forward, I just think you're doing the God's work, man. It's amazing. I love that.
thank you,
So
thank you.
definitely. So we're okay. We're in college. I'm trying to remember my setups. We created this amazing theater program. How did we get back to comics? Tell me the birth of MeSseD Comics, and now where we're celebrating this anniversary coming up soon.
So with Mist Comics, I would tell you when I was running the theater, you can find actors, you can find directors, you can find good stories. I could write good stories, and we can get them produced. Uh, I found more collaboration and partnership in theater. With comics, I could not find. It was hard to find artists. I couldn't find
Yeah.
artists then. So I had like maybe one or two little comic strips in the paper, which was great, and I learned how to do like panel to panel script writing, channeling my love of Calvin and Hobbes and Opus and that kind of thing, and creating those comics. But I kind of focused on theater for the 12 years. It wasn't until it was the birth of my daughters, honestly. I think as a parent, so I'm in my 30s. I had my kids, and I think as a parent, you have the privilege of introducing your children into the things you love.
Mm.
Spider-Man, Star Wars, Narnia, whatever. But as you introduce it to them, they reintroduce it back to you,
Oh
and you
yeah.
see like, oh, well, maybe the cast is a little homogenized as far as race, or maybe it's not as gender equitable as it should be. So I really wanted to find alternatives.
Yeah.
I can still introduce him to Star Wars, sure, but like maybe I find some Miyazaki films with some
Mm.
strong female leads.
Yeah.
Maybe I find some comics and comic characters. But also, like, I wanted to contribute something. I think any comic creator or reader or collector, they have their ideas of what they always wanted to do. It's just having the will and the belief that you can do it. So I was I worked at the Cincinnati Museum Center. This is after I left No Theater. I left an 80-hour a week job to work maybe 50 hours a week or 60 hours a
You
week.
needed a break.
Nonprofit. Well, anyway, so I was working for
Yeah.
Cincinnati Museum Center, and nearby is the Mill Creek Treatment Plant. It's a sewer plant. And they do sewer treatment. And I was like, oh, what is that like? So a friend of mine worked there, and I got a tour, and just all these ideas just started clicking. You know, I think that uh, you could internally create something and write something, but I feel like going to museums, taking tours, just seeing how different things are done, I think feeds that process as well. And so like just going to a treatment plant, seeing how like what happens after you flush and like just seeing like, oh, well, they go into these tanks and they're treated and like, and it's just amazing the process that nobody knows about. Dylan, the artist I work with, he says civilization is built on two things, the written word and working sewers. And
Mm.
I mean, like, because how many civilizations have built up so big and then all of a sudden bad sewers, nyah, and fell down.
Yeah.
Cholera is a bee. Well, anyway, so all these ideas started clicking, and inspired by my daughters, I wanted to create a strong character that happens to be female, happens to be Filipina. And so when I take them with me to these comic book stores, these bookstores, I get to see them look on the shelves and see someone who looks like them. I never had that opportunity when I was a kid. So I love the fact that they get to see Lilliput, that's the main character, with Mest Comics on those bookshelves. And so, Mest is the nickname for the Metropolitan Sewer District, which is what we call our MSD here in Cincinnati.
Absolutely beautiful. I love that. That's, I'm a girl dad too, Jay. So,
Girl Dad.
that's so beautiful, so sweet. And so that was how long ago? And we're celebrating what year now?
So that was 9 years ago as of this interview. And next year we're going to celebrate our 10th anniversary. We have 4 volumes out. We have 3 volumes out, and we released the first issue, and we'll release the second issue of volume 4 for our 10th anniversary.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So, okay, we find you get inspired. You're at this plant, but like you said, how did you get this artist? So tell me how it, like, how'd you find him? Like America
So
Online 9 years
I have
ago.
a I have I
Was it
have a
at AOL
history.
back then? Were we on dial up?
So I have a history of nonprofits and just connecting.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realized is when you have a theater is if you build it, they will come is not true. If you build it, you got to go out there and tell people about it and invite them to
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of examples of amazing underground stories where like I just did it and everyone came and it was a huge success. No, that's not that's not how theater works in Cincinnati anyway.
Yeah.
So I felt like if you want the community to support you, you have to be part of the community. So I was just out there talking to different people, and people call it schmoozing, whatever. I just you're honestly telling them about things that are going on. You're supporting them, and hopefully they will support you.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of lessons I learned. So when I started doing the comic book thing, I, you just talk to people. You get into different meetings, you go out to coffee with people, you have lunch, and just like, hey, what do you know about this? Or do you know anybody? They're always happy to introduce you to someone. They're always happy to like, oh, I think I know as an artist or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was at the Cincinnati Art Museum in their children's area with my daughter, and this guy named Dylan Spieg, he was there, and I knew him from my City Beat days. City Beat is like the multimedia magazine here in Cincinnati, cultural magazine. And so I was talking to him, and we knew each other from back in the No Theater days. And I was like, hey, do you know someone who could do panel to panel storytelling? And he's like, yeah, me. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
finally.
Yeah.
So honestly, he hadn't really done that yet. But what I love about Dylan, he's so confident. He was doing character sketches for like a sci-fi channel pilot, I think, or something like that. It didn't go anywhere, but he was like he had a lot of different character sketches, so he already had been doing that, and he had done some storyboarding. But like, I mean, I gave him the first chapter, and he just went for it.
Awesome.
And he researched different styles. And what he does is he does this great technique where I'll write the script, and then he doesn't want to. He'll take the script. He doesn't want to hear from me. He's like, "I'll come to you if I have any questions." I'm like, "Okay." So then he'll do thumbnails, and then he'll come back to me. And I could describe a pencil all day long. My description, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's not a pencil. Sorry." So then I think that he would adopt this method he learned from online where he would use character models. So he got someone who looked like Lilliput. Her name is V, and he knew her from a convenience store. He walks in the convenience store and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come over to my place? I'm doing a character shoot for a comic book." And she's like, "Sure."
Wow.
Yeah, don't go with strangers, but okay, but in this case, do it.
Yeah.
So she came over. They did a character. They did she was character model, so she would do all the different poses,
Yeah.
and then from my script, he would sketch them. He would scan them, play around a little bit, and that's how we got the comic book.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. That's reminding me of like how Alex Ross with Kingdom Come,
Oh yeah,
yeah, utilizing all his friends, Sal Abernathy, all of that. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
I mean it saves so much time, and also if you read Mast, if you look at this sewer comic book, uh, you'll see like Lilliput has amazing expressions. That just comes from working with a character model, you know? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
great, some great expressions.
So, this is a perfect gateway into like what I like to put in pro tips every now and then, especially with creatives. That what is the biggest lesson we learned, or just what are some of the important lessons that you express onto people that when they're talking to you about like I want to get in the industry, what do you tell them? So, Jay, what were some of the lessons you learned during this process and these going on 10 years now of making Mest and then branching out doing Dr. Skin Tag, Filipino Assassin that when you're talking to other creatives and going to shows, building out, these relationships, networking, what are some top lessons that you give to every young creative?
I mean, what is that story? George Lucas wanted to do all three films in one movie. I mean, but then he broke it down. So I did the same thing. Alan Moore, when he did V for Vendetta, there were 8 pagers. Shonen Jump with all the great artists, all the manga cons there. They're just doing like 8 to 10 pages a week, but still they're doing 8 to 10 pages. So when I started my first script, I was kind of daunted trying to write a 24-page story. So instead, I just wrote a bunch of 8 pagers, 8 page stories, and I forget who said it. If you someone I forget what writer said it, but if you can't do a good story in 8 pages, then how are you going to do a better story in 24?
Right? Yeah.
So I started doing 8 pagers, and they would begin and end. They would build. They would all contribute to a larger world building, but they were all one and done. So it doesn't matter what order you read them in, it's like one and done. And because I was worried, admittedly, well, not worried, but I was wondering if like Jim Kruger's Foot Soldiers, would it be a different artist every story? Because some artists, they got a lot of stuff going on in their lives. They can't continue, things happen. So I was like, instead of having you do my 200-page graphic novel, I just want you to do 8 pages.
Yeah.
And I am just fortunate that Dylan has been with me the whole time. So he did all of those arcs and all those stories. And so that I would say top lesson there is just kind of break it down.
Mm.
Introduce. Don't start with that 200-page graphic novel. I mean, because all sorts of things can happen. So break it down into 8 page bites. The other thing is let the artwork tell the story.
Mm.
As a writer, sometimes you're like, oh, well, I need to have a dialogue balloon. Like, I need a speech. No, you don't. You don't need no speech.
Yeah.
Let the artwork tell the story. I use a technique where it's an 8 page chapter per se, but then I have what's called the Fat Mucket files, which is her manager, Fat Mucket. and Fat Mucket will kind of sum up what happened in almost like an action report. And what's great about that is it's her personality, but I get to like show off the background, the research, what's going on that I might not be able to nuance in the story, but I
Mm,
get to do it in the Fat Mucket file. So it's almost like I get my cake and I get to eat it too. So I
nice.
think that allowing certain I know all writers are brilliant, but sometimes save that brilliance for later.
Mm.
Have a little background, have a little, like just like a glossary or a Fat Mucket file or an action report or something where you can show off later. Let the artwork tell the story.
I completely agree. Yeah, as a somebody who travels between film, TV, comic books, you know, and also I'm an artist. So when I was doing comics quite a bit, when I would put my script together, I'd also provide blue line breakdowns, unfinished pencils, and then I'd feel so terrible because what creativity am I allowing that artist if I'm giving so much detail? They're gonna be restricted, and I felt terrible about that. And it's finding that happy medium, I would say, is the best thing. So you're both able to give your all and provide that creativity for them to explore and just build that relationship out. But yeah, I
I've
completely agree.
I've seen some script formats where it's an artist writer, and I mean, they provide the thumbnails, and I think that's okay because I mean, an artist can maybe go with that or go a different way, but let them know they're going a different way. I mean, I think that I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of different ways to tell a story depending upon your skills and how creative you are. So I think if you were doing a thumbnail version, I think that's great.
yeah. Yeah, I think it depends on the creative you're working with because again, yeah, like you said, you want to allow that freedom on both sides,
I
Uh,
mean, the problem is like so sometimes Dylan he'll be like, "Hey, you're missing a panel because I'll have like eight actions in one panel. How is that possible?" But so like Dylan has saved me so many times. Clint,
yeah.
I work with this guy named Clint Bassinger. He does so this other comic we do based out of the mess world, the sewer world, is called The Intrusion, and they're adolescent cockroaches looking for sweet graffiti spots. And like Clint does an amazing job with these cockroaches that are just doing graffiti and eating day old donuts. And they're like the opposite of the mess workers. The sewer workers are busy as heck, while the cockroaches literally have food flowing by them. so I love the dichotomy there. I love the juxtaposition there. And he definitely does an amazing job with just just Dylan and Clint both, just moments of silence. I think it's so important
Mm.
to have that
Oh
pregnant
yeah.
pause, to have that ma, I think they call it. Miyazaki calls it a moment of ma, where you just take it in.
Yeah, I think as a fellow creative, like you're saying with silence, kind of, where you're working with the artist but you don't want to put too many dialogue. It's like I want to recreate. This is gonna be super nerdy. I want to
No.
recreate my GI Joe 21 silent issue Larry Hama.
Ah, unbelievable. That is my
Right?
favorite. I was at Heroes Con and Steve Lealoa, who Larry did the script and the breakdowns, but Steve did the finishes.
Yeah.
He signed my silent issue. Well, he signed a new silent issue because my original silent issue has been read so many times.
I
It's like Sanskrit. It's ready to fall apart at any moment. And then
love
I
that.
met Larry Hama and he signed the rough one. He signed the rough one.
That's awesome.
Oh,
But
that's my
yeah, so
favorite. That is
inspiring.
my favorite issue. That's my favorite issue of comic storytelling. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the power of the medium, and collaboration with artist and writer, to just, yeah, it's just amazing. What we can do. I think we learn that as we get older as creatives too, right? Less is more. We put so
Yes.
much because we have so many ideas. We're
Yeah.
to the brim of ideas, and we just like, but no, pull back. You
I
know,
mean, what is
do eight
the best
pages, like you
is
said. You don't need to do 24 pages. You don't need to do a full Bible. Take it slower, break it down, and then ease into it. I love that.
I mean, like what is like the film Alien, the first one, Alien. It was
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's like 3 hours long, and the alien is only in if you put it all together, like 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes of footage. I mean,
Just like
it's
Jaws, we only see Jaws for a little bit.
oh yeah, Jaws, yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's just like, but it's the idea, it's the music, it's the I don't know, just the reactions of the actors. Oh my gosh.
We could completely nerd out on all that stuff, Jay. So we're getting to 10 years. We're in our ninth year. Next year will be 10 years. We got Filipino Assassin. We got Dr. Skin Tag. We got MeSseD, and a bunch of, I'm sure, other projects along the way. As we get to the end here, Jay, because time. But you're always welcome back. And I always tell that
Thank
to
you.
everybody, but especially you, Jay, especially on ShoPowSho. What are the goals of MeSseD? What are some future plans? What are we aspiring to do with this platform you've created? I love again how you found that Venn diagram and you're trying to integrate, your history or our culture into this work as well. And that's what, again, like I said, this is what ShoPowSho was born for, because you've now taught me about Filipino Assassin, and now I'm so ever thankful for that. And like I said, we're going to compare notes later because you've got so many ideas in my head brimming now. So what are goals of MeSseD and in the future?
I would say so. The publishing company is called Creative Muscle, and that's kind of taken a back seat where Mest is the main identity. But as other books are coming out, cryptid books like Grassman and The Goat, or hidden histories with like Filipino Assassin, or these Filipino projects like Dr. Skin Tag, Saint Malo. Uh, it's going to right now. It's more connecting on a national, international scale. So connecting to creatives like yourself, Hot Tropics out of the West Coast, Cuento Comics, who do and Virginia Beach, and just really just trying to go to a lot of the Asian festivals. And then also a lot of the Filipino events, and just trying to introduce Filipino American creative IPs.
Definitely. I love that. And I want to be a part of that, by the way. So we're
You
definitely going to
are
talk about some
this
things.
interview.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I'm talking
Done.
actually in the work, because
Check.
I've done work with Kid Heroes.
Yeah.
The Lumpia with Vengeance.
Lumpia the movie. Lumpia
It
with a
was actually the
vengeance.
legendary Lumpia Squad that, the spin-off comic that got me back into doing comics again.
Yeah.
When Patricio brought me on. I've had Quinto on. We've been talking about different things. So come on, I got to get part of the Creative Muscle mess gang, man. Let me know what I can
Nice.
collaborate on. I'll put an
Nice.
8-pager together.
I'll publish it. I'll publish it.
Let's go. I love so building out more and all these tales that you brought up that we can expect that to happen. So as those come along and you get to final production and you're putting it out there, please come
Yeah.
back, Jay.
Yeah.
So I can throw some virtual flowers and hopefully we can link up at a show too at all
We're,
these fests.
we're gonna premiere Saint Malo in New Orleans in January
Nice.
at Fan Expo and a couple of Filipino owned restaurants. And I just feel like we as a culture, we as a people, we have blended in really well, but I feel like there we need to stick out a little bit more.
Let's go. I'm about that energy.
And I know it's a scary time. I get that it's a scary time,
Yeah.
but I you can't stop.
Yeah, we can't let them hold us back. We can't let
No,
them,
no.
put us
I
in the
think
corner.
I think that Asians and Filipinos, we need to be proud.
Yes.
And I know, like someone, uh, when they're protesting ICE and they have that Mexican flag, you know what? I want to be next to them with a Filipino flag.
Same.
And I'm American, but I'm
Same.
also
Yep.
Filipino.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My man Jay, I love you, man. That's awesome. I love that energy. I love that energy. I love
Thank
what
you.
you're doing. We are cut from the same cloth, sir, and I cannot wait to celebrate you as you do this journey. And I want to be right there with you, holding up my flag to just send that love, my brother. Last question to close this out, Jay.
Yeah.
It's always NRW. We're representing NRW. Nerds Rule the World. Home of the ShoPowSho is. What are we nerdy about that not many people know about us? And you can't use what we already know about you. We can't talk about comics. We can't talk about a lot of things that we already said in this interview. And again, it doesn't have to be the stereotypical what nerd represents, because nerd can be, as we know, a lot of things. I had people that say they're nerdy about tax law. They're nerdy about gardening.
Nice.
What is something that you've recently come across that you just started deep diving into and you're just all about it, and you can give me a research paper on it right now, that you just it became of interest to you, and it could be again about anything that you could probably give a TED talk on.
So, not an expert yet, just learning about it. Uh, Project Seed Coffee in Virginia Beach. They blended regular lattes and different coffees with like ube velvet, pandan vanilla. I had a salted egg. Tasted like this latte tasted like leche flan, and it was so good. And I got in a conversation with Irene, the owner, about Filipino beans. And I don't know anything about Filipino beans. They were talking about it like they were talking about a couple different kinds, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to geek out and try Filipino coffee.
I love
And I
that.
heard they said one or two are not good. But I was like, I don't care. I just want to try it, even if like just to say, because that is one thing that is not crossed over as well. And maybe I just got to go on Amazon or not Amazon. Maybe I got to go on some other service and just find these beans and just have it shipped to me. But like, I think that I'm geeking out on trying to discover what Filipino coffee beans are.
Yo, I love that. Shout out to Project Seed. Shout out to
Project Seed.
Irene. Next time
Yeah,
I'm
I
in
mean,
Virginia Beach, I'm gonna go check
yeah,
that out. But it's crazy that you had brought this up, Jay,
yeah,
before we get up out of here. I was in San Diego like less than 2 months ago
yeah.
visiting family. We had a death in the family.
Mm.
And I found out that my cousin there started up his own coffee business with some friends. They're like the hottest coffee shop in San Diego, and their whole thing is because we're Filipino is Filipino coffee,
Woo!
and they have like Filipino themed flavors, the ube, all of that. But they're the hottest thing in San Diego. I'll have to remind you so if in case the next time if you go out to Comic
Yes.
Con, you could check them out. But they're blowing up. But yeah, you're like the second person to like tell me Filipino coffee is it. And I'm not much of a coffee drinker. I'm more of a frozen, cold stuff,
Sure.
But I gotta try it because I gotta support my people, and I love that. So, shout out to Project Seed. We'll give Project Seed all the love.
Nice.
But awesome, Jay. Thank you for sharing that. I just think
Thank
it's
you.
crazy coincidence, these just little things of life, and you find out just how beautiful it is, and it's all connected,
Absolutely.
Jay, I'm so thankful, so appreciative you finally were able to come and talk to me, man. Please come back as those projects drop, as we get closer to FanX next year
Yeah.
when that
Yeah.
project drops.
Yeah.
Please come back on. I want to talk about that and just throw some additional promo out there for that project.
Awesome.
All right, that's the amazing Jay Kalagayan
Thank
of
you.
Mess
Salamat po.
Comics. All the
Salamat
links in
po.
the description below. For those that might be driving, because I live in the DC area, a lot of people listen to me as they're making their commute. How can they check you out online, Jay?
Online, they can go to Mess Comics, MESSED Comics.com. It's Mess Comics on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky.
There you go. The amazing Jay Kalagayan, Mess Comics. Support him, show love. Go get your copy of Dr. Skin Tag, Filipino Assassin, Mess. All the love to my brother. I'm Kuya P. Salamat, mahal kita. Nerds rule the world. Peace, y'all. All right, there's a cut.